Speaking of a little college football, Colby Fields becomes the 6th Louisiana native to join the LSU football team. Of course, he's the Archbishop Rummel alum who just transferred from South Carolina after redshirting for a year.
Mario hates him already.
The reason why I think this has been interesting is because, Brian Kelly, all the family jokes, everything else, he's not from here, but he has been bringing a lot of kids who are from here back here. They got 6 cats in this class coming back home to Louisiana. Greg Briggs Jr. from Harvey. He came from Arkansas. Penn State running back Noah Cain's originally from Baton Rouge. Arkansas safety Joe Fuchs is originally from New Orleans. UO receiver Kyron Lacey is originally from Thibodeau. Jarek Bernard Converse, the Oklahoma State cornerback, Big 12 court player of the year defensively from Shreveport. How about that? Every different part of the state
That's true, too.
represented as well. We got the West Bank, like everywhere, top to bottom, coming back here.
That's not only in the players' tee. It's a great point you make, but it's in the coaching staff as well. Like a lot of the coaching staff, like the support staff, the shadow staff, whatever you want to call it, has strong Louisiana ties. I think he understands what this state is. Now, this state is it's unique in the fact that we have so much talent for being a smaller state, but it's also, look, we're very close-knit. Like, we take care of our own. Like, if you're from Louisiana, like that might open doors that it doesn't open for many people. It's very hard to be an outsider and kind of come into Louisiana. That's what, like, if you're able to do it, it's impressive, and you got to tip your cap to them. But I think he wants to surround himself with people that know the area, know the inner workings of the high school football programs here in the state. Because, I mean, like you said, there's different areas where there's different football that's played, and you want to make sure you have those relationships in every single section of Louisiana.
And it's crazy. I mean, they came from far and wide throughout the boot. So, maybe not from here, but doing a good job of identifying and getting those that are from here to buy in and come home. Now I want to talk about that linebacker position, Jake. So you get the transfer in Colby. And maybe it's Colby. I'm guessing it's Colby. Your linebacker room now has senior Micah Baskerville, sophomore Mike Jones Jr., freshman Greg Penn III, sophomore Josh White, the Virginia transfer West Weeks, can't remember what year he is, and then you sign the
He'll be a sophomore, I believe.
Okay,
yeah.
So he's got multiple years left too. Then you got the 4-star DeMario Tolan, and you got the 5-star Harold Perkins. Bruh, when you talk about your new DC being a linebacker coach by trade and coming from the Kansas City Chiefs, where he's been coaching Sorensen and other guys and had them playing very well, he now gets to step into this room, which has the upper class talent mixed with a ton of young, exciting talent, and it has all the tradition. And when you're talking about, we talk so much about quarterback on offense. Well, linebacker is like that for the defense. Now, it's not quite as powerful of a piece, obviously, but it's still very powerful in its own right. So you're going to put Matt House, a very proven linebacker coach, in charge of this group and in charge of the defense as a whole. Okay, dude. Starting to get a little bit excited here.
Yeah, it's a position that had a lot of concern because of who you look at it. You lose Damone Clark, who led the NCAA in tackles. You lose even a Bug Strong, who added, some depth there. He decides to go into the portal in the middle of the season. You weren't quite sure about Baskerville if he was going to come back, and so you start to have some concern. And Mike Jones, you don't really know what they're going to do with him. He's a nice piece to have, though, because Mike Jones is somebody that you can kind of move in multiple spots. We saw that last year. Whenever they changed the defense after the bye week, he was kind of all over the place. I mean, he was playing stack backer, he was on the line, he was playing even some nickel there. So now you've got some pieces to be able to choose from. Certainly all these players aren't going to play and have a rotation on the defense this year, but now you've added to your special teams as well. Like, you've added some core players. And so it was a position that you had to add some depth. They've done that, and they've done it with some guys that have at least some experience in the NCAA. I know it's some freshman guys, but you still have that experience. Like, Weeks played a ton in Virginia. I know that when you look at Fields, he hadn't played a ton, but he's at least got some experience in the SEC.
Yeah, and it's at least a room, like you're saying, Jake, where you just have the numbers now as well, right? And so I'm not so excited about this group just because Fields joined, but, like, there's so many guys. You're going to find a combination that works. Like, you're going to find a combination that sticks. And under Matt House's tutelage, I think you could expect that this will be a very, very strong position group next season.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what they do with Mike Jones. I know I just mentioned it was kind of the first time that we talked about it, because he did help this football team last year. At the beginning, didn't play as much as we thought. I think they were trying to find a position that fit for him. Once they found that, he became that guy that could play really on all three levels. He really started to thrive. The Ole Miss game comes to mind, and certainly the Alabama game where he had the big sack and he made a couple of plays in that contest. The Arkansas game, there's a place for him. They just got to figure out what's best for him because it might not be just at stack backer, which is fine.
Yeah.
Like he played nickel on a really good college football playoff team at Clemson, right? You can use him in multiple spots. Don't allow him just to be fit into one, hey, you got to stay in the box as a stack backer.
But that's the weird part is for a lot of last year, we were always hearing that it was him that wanted to do that, right?
Yeah.
So, like, I wonder where his head is at. Like,
I think after the change, just having some conversations with him, I think he realized, you know, I can bring value. I can be versatile. And what are NFL teams always looking for? Versatile guys that can save a roster spot. Just buy into it because you have that skill set. That's a unique skill set. The fact that you can play stack backer, you can play nickel, like, and cover receivers and really talented players and also rush the quarterback.
Yeah, what a great lesson for us all in a lot of ways, right? Accepting who we are versus who we kind of think we are supposed to be, right?
Hey,
well, insight here.
Trust me, I understand that one. Was fullback something that, you know, I like wanted to play eventually, but at the beginning, like, man, I can play running back. I want to prove I can play running back. It's like, man, you have the opportunity to play fullback. Just be the best fullback that you can be.
There you go. And it worked
you can
out.
still strive for greatness, but once you get to that point, T, where you're like, okay, this is what it is, then you just got to buy into the what it is part.
What am I? We'll explore that question